one of the things that's striking in all of the Roman Stoics is the stress they place on habituation and training, and they all emphasize this in different ways, that it's a continual process of training in order to embed these habits and be able to automatically do that kind of cognitive distancing, for instance. Automatically open up these gaps so that you've got space to test your judgments. Hence the need for sort of daily reminders and all of that sort of thing. And then, of course, these days, of course, people will want to produce all sorts of, Stoic apps on their phones to give them the daily reminders and all of that kind of stuff, which is it's a good sort of, I mean, I try to avoid technology as much as I can in many ways, but I can see why that's a really good way to put something to use in order to do precisely what the ancient Stoics were talking about, right? To have those constant reminders of what you need to take into account.
Yeah, definitely. Just having that constant reminder there that you need to build these habits. And going back to the ancient Stoics, I think that what's really interesting about all of these people who we read from, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, is these are fully grown men, right? And yet they are still talking every single day about how to live a good life. And that speaks to the Stoic view of the world, which is that philosophy is a lifelong pursuit. And it seems like, man, I can think of so many people where it's almost as if whatever their favorite year of their life was, they decided this is exactly how I'm going to be for the rest of my life now, and nothing's going to change. Their clothing, the way they think, their opinions of things, and they just stick with it. And it's inspiring to read from philosophers, because these are people who it's a lifelong pursuit. And even Seneca, I think I seem to remember a quote from Seneca where he was talking about, at even at your dying breath, you should be conquering a new challenge. Like you should be right to the very end trying to become a virtuous person. Is that kind of the way you see your philosophy as well, and your study of Stoicism?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's a continual practice. It's not as if you kind of reach a certain point, you say, okay, I've nailed this, I can just forget about it, it'll take care of itself. Far from it. And every so often I might have a period of time where I'm not particularly looking at Stoic things at all, and I'm doing other things, and I come back to it, and it's like, well, this is a breath of fresh air. I'd almost forgotten this. Right? And people might think, well, how could you forget this? You've written books on it and all the rest of it. But unless you're getting those constant reminders, it's very easy.
It's easy to forget. It's so easy to forget. And then all of a sudden one day you snap and you get angry at somebody and you're like, oh gosh, I haven't thought about that in quite a long time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.